So, today I will be talking to you about the select from statements, where, and also other statements. However, we will be working with the AdventureWorks 2012 database again. And so, we're going to be getting a little bit more into select statements specifically, and these will be a good foundation. So, we're going to be using a table, and it's not going to be person.person, it's however going to be. If I'm not mistaken, I'm looking production.product would be good, and so we're going to use name, we're going to use the start date, we're going to use the cell start date, the cell end date, and also we are going to use list price. Those are good to play around with. And so select name as name, we're just gonna rename the name as name, and that's fine, even though it's basically the same. We're gonna have list price, and we're just gonna call it as price, say it's price. And to separate out the columns, for calling them, you have to add commas. So when selecting more than one column, you have to put commas. Until the last column you select, you just leave the end blank. You don't have a comma at the end. So list price is price, and we're gonna have safety stock level as stock level, renamed to stock level. And then for the cell start date, we're just gonna say it as start date, and then comma. After that, we have cell end date, and we're going to rename it as end date. And I'm also reorganizing so that everything is better viewable for your understanding, and also for me to keep organized, because it's just better to keep organized. Also, sometimes SQL Server Management Studio, it sometimes does act slow, and it also sometimes does show red squiggly lines for certain columns. Sometimes it takes its time to recognize and see it trying to find all of the right tables or columns or server or databases, and so that is why sometimes red squiggly lines appear. And also, we're getting this from the table production.product, and here are our results. And start date, a lot of them are null, and there are very few of them that are showing actual start dates. And as you can see, it's listed 1 to however many. I think there's around 500 or so. We have 1 to 504 results, and pretty much generically all of them stock levels are 500. Kind of funny. I don't know why you would need 500 of each, but you know, that's fine. And then our start dates, we have ones that are from 2002, 2005, 2006, and also 2007 for the start dates. And I actually renamed the end date as start date, and I will fix that, and I will just leave it and call it as end date for the cell end date. And also, another thing is structure. Structure in the queries is good to upkeep, because it will help you recognize if you have an error, or if something is duplicated, you accidentally duplicated something, such as a name, you rename something, because I caught it right now, and I saw them like, oh, start date. There's two of them. I need to rename one of them as end date. So, and then where cell start date is going to be, let's see, it's going to be less than 2005. Yep, so it has to be less than 2005 0701, which, yep, it's coming up as everything is 2002. Okay, that's good. That's the result we wanted. And now we're going to add in a new query and copy and pasted it. And we're going to change it up by adding where it is less than one date and has to be greater than one date. So it has to be greater than a certain date and less than a certain date. So it has to be in between two dates. And so let's say that you have products and you want to know how many were sold in between a certain period, and you want to show what was sold or what products were, I guess, produced during that time. You know what, we're gonna say they've been produced, so in between a certain time, what has been produced. And so a query of where let's see, where name, or sorry, well, where cell start date is less than 2005, and we're going to change that in the next query, in this new query we're making. We're going to change that into a greater date, such as 2006 or 2007, and it cannot, so we're going to make it where it cannot be earlier than 2005. So, and it cannot be greater than, or well, sorry, cannot have been made later than, let's see, 2006. It has to be less than 2002. Or sorry, it has to be greater than the date of 2002, and it has to be less than the day, or sorry, the year 2005. So it has to be in between that period of 2002 and 2005. So we're going to change it where cell start date, and then we're going to put 2006 has to be less than 2006, and it has to be greater than 2000. Let's see, we're 2002. Okay, it's gonna have to be greater than 2002, and we're gonna get, oh, well, we're gonna have to change that. Give me 1 second. I incorrectly made that statement of the where certain date is less than and certain date is greater than, so as tween, and I incorrectly made it. Now I'm copying a certain date because it has to be in the correct format. If it's not in the correct format, it will get mad, such as the 2006 date. That's the reason it's getting mad, because it has to have the month and the day, and without that, it gets upset, because within those records there is no just 2006 date. It has to be the year, the day, and the month. And so from that's why it's mad. That's why it gave me that error. So I'm sorry about that. Now, let's see. It runs fine. Everything executed fine. No errors. That's good. So, another thing. Sometimes records have certain formats which the date and time is. That's why the number is declared as a certain data type, and I'll give an introduction onto that data type certain data is considered to be, and that will be in table building. It will be an introduction to that. So now we get in between the years of 2002 and 2007, so it has to be greater than the years of 2002 and it has to be less than the years or the year of 2007. So my results are, so I guess about 872 rows. Yeah, so I guess that's what we wanted. I was going to test some things out. I was thinking about maybe doing a top percentage, and so, you know, maybe top 50, maybe top 1. Instead of a new query for now, we're just going to work with the previous query and we're just going to build onto it. And like I said, I'm doing this on the fly. So I'm thinking of new ways, or well, I'm trying to think of what to incorporate with what. Then we're going to add order by ascending. We're going to have it ascend from the name. We're going to have it ascend by the name, order by name ascending. Because order by is automatically defaulted as descending, as I touched on last time. So we're executing, and now let's go down to the results, and we have 2 because we have the top 1%. That's exactly what we wanted. I'm going to drag and drop and put it down below. Hopefully it won't throw an error and get mad at me for doing that, which it shouldn't, because syntax wise it's fine, but you never know. And now I'm rearranging everything to structurally give a better representation of what each line is. Thanks for watching, and please do watch my other tutorials, as they will be getting more intricate and more advanced. You will definitely be learning a lot more. So if you have a question or a comment, please do leave one.